peace plan in Iran is already bearing real fruits for the American people. Last night, 12.5 million barrels of oil went through the Strait of Hormuz. That is a high since the beginning of the conflict. Oil prices are down nearly at their level from the pre-war conflict. Gas prices dropped below $4 a gallon today for the first time since the conflict. And importantly, they're going to keep falling further given how low oil prices are. On the military side, the Iranians, for the second night in a row, did not shoot at any ships in the Strait of Hormuz. So far, they are honoring their end of the commitment. And on the blockade, CENTCOM has allowed north of a dozen ships to go through our naval blockade. And so we're also honoring our end of the early part of the agreement. On the military side, a couple of things that are still true and will be true whether the Iranians comply with the rest of the deal or not. Number one, their nuclear program has been completely destroyed. Their capacity for enrichment, the facilities at which they were using to develop enrichment and develop a potential nuclear weapon, those facilities are still destroyed. Their conventional military is still destroyed. Their capacity to threaten their neighbors.
I mean, conventional military is still destroyed, but then why aren't we just, toppling the regime then if that's the case? But like I said, I'm okay with advance. You got to sell it. You got to sell this deal. I'm not going to poke at it like a neocon, but I am going to have to give the facts here. Is that no, their missiles have not been decimated. They still retain about 70% of them. Like, guys, if everything he was saying was true and that was accurate, then we would still be at war with them, or we'd literally just be waiting for them to concede. But that's not true at all. Like, everything the Trump administration has been telling you about what's going on the battlefield has not been true. And this deal should honestly open your eyes to that.
Is still largely gone. And now we see whether they are willing to comply with the next step of the president's peace plan. As you all know, the part of the peace plan, the part of this MOU that I think have been most misrepresented by certain parts of the media is the idea that the Iranians get all these benefits. You will hear things about $300 billion or $24 billion or this.
I mean, that is a benefit. Them getting $300 billion from the Gulf countries to rebuild and restabilize their economy. I mean, well, that's a benefit. And it's coming out of this deal. It would never happen if they didn't get to this conclusion here. So that's a benefit. $12 billion just to pull up to the talk. That's a benefit. $24 billion in total in sanction relief is a benefit. Oh, yeah. And right now, guys, you know that we just pretty much suspended sanctions on Iranian oil and petrochemicals. So those potential earnings like far exceed that $24 billion I'm talking about.
To that number of money or amount of money. And the simple fact is that the only way the Iranians get any of those resources.
That's true, though. And here's the thing, guys. Here's the one smart thing about this deal. I'm gonna be real with you that you got to be honest about. This will bring down the price of oil. And they're trying to get Iran to honestly start putting their oil into the global market. Why? Because it's going to rapidly bring down price. And this is I'm gonna be real with you, this is a variable that I did not see coming. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Because if they can go ahead and get this done, then yeah, we could get back to regular pricing. We could probably get back to that $298 by the end of the summer, possibly. Why? Because Iran is starting to put more of their oil back into the market because we're taking off sanctions, and we suspended sanctions on their oil and petrochemicals so far, and that takes away the low pricing that they're giving to China and Russia. So it's kind of funny now how taking the sanctions off is benefiting us more than putting sanctions on.
A single penny, by the way, from the United States of America under any circumstances. But the only way that they would ever get any benefit of the bargain is if they comply fully and change their behavior. And so you really have a win-win situation for the United States.
Of course. But you got to understand, there's something called manufacturer scarcity that people got to rely on here, which is hilarious. I think you know about it. But no, we know that the world that has all this energy and all this good stuff, but I'm gonna be real with you, dog. And the reality of it, if the Strait of Hormuz is closed and all that good stuff, oil price will go up because oil is a global commodity. And if 20% of the supply is missing and there's more scarcity on oil, that's going to drive up prices. But now here's the thing, not only that 20% of oil release, but now we got Iranian oil being released into that market as well. So I'm gonna be real with you, it's not bad.
United States of America. If the Iranians don't change their behavior, their military and their nuclear program is still destroyed. If they do change their behavior, then they are going to have a transformative relationship with the Middle East, and the Middle East will have a transformative relationship with the people of Iran. that's a win for the American people and for the president of the United States, regardless of which option the Iranians ultimately choose. We obviously want them to choose the right option. The interesting thing about their system, and I think it's important for the American people to appreciate this point in particular, is that there are real divisions within their country about how exactly to proceed. And what we've seen over the last couple of months is that the pragmatists within the Iranian system, the people who really do want to transform their relationship with the Middle East and with the world, those people are winning the argument. The United States wants those people to win the argument. The United States wants to have a better relationship, but in order for that to happen, the Iranians have to perform. And if they don't perform, as we've said before, they don't get any of the benefits of the bargain. So what I'd ask all of you is just to report honestly that the United States isn't giving up a cent of money to Iran. And
yeah, we're not. Like, let's be real. We're not. We're just pretty much giving back their own money that we froze, and we're allowing the Gulf countries to invest in Iran, which is some, well, I'm gonna be real with you, but it all depends. If you're a straight out Zionist, you're thinking this is the end of the world. But if you're more rational minded like me, you're just going like, well, I'll be honest with you. I mean, they've proven to be a pretty rational player on the world stage. It could be worse. I mean, why not? Let's give the crazy moves a chance. F it, guys. We ain't got no fucking choice anyway. It's written on paper.
Even the economic benefits, the sanctions relief and so forth that comes along with this bargain only happens if the Iranians perform. So with that, I want to say thanks to all of you. It's good to be with you this morning, and I'll kick it over to questions. Let's start right over here to the right.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. I wanted to ask a follow-up on something you just mentioned. You talked about the possibility of the current Iranian leadership fundamentally changing their behavior. Do you think that the current Iranian leadership recognizes the leverage that the U.S. holds over itself economically and militarily enough to actually go forth with fundamentally changing their behavior over the long term, going about things differently?
So I certainly think they recognize the leverage that the United States has over them. We've seen that in a number of our conversations. We've seen that just in their behavior over the last
week. Like, bro, I swear to God, bro, TDS, guys, really? First off, I voted for Trump, by the way, and I'm a conservative. But the problem with your argument is that you're denying the reality of what's going on. I'm sorry, but us reporting on, like, being real about it, be real with you, it's not TDS. We're just telling you the fact that Iran will be enriched because of this, well, because of this war with them. It's kind of crazy. Like, guys, you got to understand, we'd have got more out of Iran without giving up so much if we'd have just kept with negotiations with them, if we just didn't involve Israeli interests. Now, because we did and we went to war with them, Iran gets $300 billion to, you know, rebuild their economy. They get like $24 billion in money that we snatched from them. I mean, oh yeah, and we're also going to start removing our troops from the region. So they're basically going to be like, I'm gonna be real with you, the dominating force in that region now. Sorry, guys. Oh, and guess what? If we play around with them, they'll just close the strait again. Oh, did you remember? Did you all forget? We couldn't take the strait from them militarily. Like, we put a blockade on top of a blockade and thought that was doing something, and it wasn't. Iran was still able to get their oil through China, or still able to get their oil over to China through Pakistan, to Russia through the Caspian Sea. Oh, yeah. And then we worked out a deal with China saying that they can go in and out of the blockade. What do you think they were doing? So, like, we weren't really doing anything with that. And here's the problem with it. Them being able to close the strait whenever they want is tremendous leverage. AKA, we can't fuck with Iran no more when it comes to the Middle East. That's why we're scrambling to get Israel to cut the shit in Lebanon. Why? Because it's Big Iran in the chat now, ruler of the Strait of Hormuz. Like, God damn it. I told you guys it might be the result if y'all keep cheerleading this fucking war.
Couple of days. They certainly recognize that the United States has great leverage. Will that ultimately lead to a change in behavior? I don't know. I've seen skeptics of the deal. People say the Iranians will never change.
Oh, well, my bad, Dave. My bad.
Change their behavior. Well, maybe that's true. And if so, they don't.
But nah, trust me. People be hitting me with the TDS a little bit too early. And I'll be like, bruh, it's not that I got TDS. And I'm going to restate it again. Trust me. I have no hatred for the man Trump. I just got to keep it real with you guys. This was a terrible decision. And like, you can kind of see the results from a mile away if you wasn't too blinded by, I don't know. I guess I want to say Islamophobia, but not really. It's like, it's such a liberal term. I'll just say the anti-Muslim rhetoric. Like, yeah, if I wasn't too fueled up by that, wasn't too fueled up by this, oh, pro-America, oh, we can just blow anything up we want and get it. If you wasn't fueled by that as well, maybe you'll be able to see what was really going to happen here. We could all stood against it. But here we are, guys. Here we are, giving Iran everything they ever wanted just for what? Get the Strait of Hormuz open and to go back to the JCPOA guidelines when it comes to their nuclear enrichment. Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. And it's a very tough sell for JD. But here's the thing. I want him to win the argument because it's too easy of an argument for him to win. It's like, what's the better option? Go back to war and make shit worse? Like, yeah, it's a pretty shitty position, but keep going, bro. That'd have been even worse. So he's going to win the argument. And anybody who's arguing against JD is just proving that they're not for Americans at all. But, I mean, you keep on trying to sit there and say how we should go back to wars and within our interests. And you'll sit there and continuously sound stupid as hell.
Get any of the benefits of the bargain. But isn't it worth trying? Isn't it worth seeing whether this incredibly weakened position that the president of the United States has put the Iranians under, whether that motivates them to change their behavior, not just vis-a-vis the West, but vis-a-vis the Middle East? And one of the interesting things about this is, you know, the technical details of this, we can, of course, get into. There are going to be any number of opinions about the negotiation, about where it's ultimately going to go. But I tend to think that you should trust the people who know the Iranians the best and who have the most to lose. What are the Gulf Arab states saying about this deal? What are they saying about this deal compared to the JCPOA in 2015? This is the Obama nuclear deal. Well, back then, they hated that deal. They felt like it empowered the Iranians to be bad actors across the region. And of course, that's exactly what happened. They were right about that. What are they saying about the president's peace deal? They're saying this is an amazingly transformative thing for the region because either way, we and the broader region win. Iran is weakened, their nuclear program destroyed, their economy in desperate straits.
But we're about to give them a lifeline. So all the stuff you're bragging about, if you were essentially rebuilding, like their economy that we spent billions of dollars destroying, and while also pretty much causing further distrust in our dollar. But yeah, we're about to toss them an economic lifeline with the 12 billion, bro. And then, bro, we got the entire Gulf country ready to throw them. I'm be real, really about to pull them out the gutter, bro. About to bring them out to be a first world nation out here with $300 billion, which is basically their entire GDP. So I'm sorry, but I really don't see how Iran's taking an L right now at all. Even if all that was true, it's like, so we destroyed it to rebuild it? Like, wait, what?
And if they change their behavior, big things are going to happen for Iran and for the world. If they don't, no skin off our backs. Either way, we win. And that's the way the president has set up this deal and this negotiation.
Thank you, Mr. Vice
Yep.
President. Just a quick housekeeping question, just if you answered in your topper, but did the 60-day period officially begin yesterday?
I would say the 60-day period officially started today. It was signed late, and it may have even been signed technically, you know, because of the time shift. I think it's signed technically today, Iran time. So yes, the deal started yesterday. We're going to start the 60-day clock today. Go ahead.
Can you help us understand President Trump's shift on his stance for Iran's ballistic missile program? Initially, it was a key objective to dismantle it. Yesterday, he said it would only be fair if they had some, if the countries around Iran also had some. So
yeah, and if you don't know, Donald Trump pretty much just approved of Iran having missiles. They're like, well, come on, guys. Like, it's kind of crazy to sit there and say like Saudi Arabia and Israel could have missiles, but not Iran. I mean, like, come on, bro. You're basically saying they don't have a right to defend themselves. And if Israel has a right to defend themselves, then so does Iran. Yeah, a lot of people was not trying to hear that fair ass argument. I'm not gonna lie. And I always bring that up. I would bring this argument up months ago. And I was getting called an IRGC member. So I wonder what they're gonna hit Trump with. Because I brought up the same effing argument, word for word, bar for bar. And I got called a fucking IRGC member. So I wonder what they're gonna hit him with. Oh man, make sure to double check the
when
screen.
and why did that change? And will the final agreement have any restrictions on these missiles?
So we destroyed a substantial number of their ballistic missiles and their ballistic missile launchers themselves. It's not just the bullets, but it's the actual gun. And that's what we were extremely effective at in destroying during the last 3 months of the campaign. All the president said yesterday is that, of course, countries don't give up the right of self-defense. Israel doesn't give up the right of self-defense if Hezbollah fires rockets or drones at Israel. The Iranians don't give up the right of self-defense in their country. But we do expect that as part of the final deal, they are not going to be able to build the kind of missiles that can broadly threaten the entire world. And that's what the President of the United States said yesterday. And look,
keep all your cruise missiles. You can even keep your hypersonic missiles. Just promise that you'll never create an intercontinental ballistic missile. Just promise us that you won't do that. You already have intermediate range missiles, and that's bad enough. But just say that you won't never have intercontinental ballistic missiles, and we'll leave your missiles program alone. And that's pretty much the agreement. Yeah, they're keeping everything they got. And I'm gonna be real with you. Their missiles are one of their main threats. They got some pretty advanced missiles. Like I said, 2 versions of a hypersonic missile that they got and that they use only a couple of times, ironically. Because let's be real, they don't got to get that fancy to overwhelm the missile defense systems. But all right, let's keep it going.
I mean, it's very simple. You can't tell a country, whether Israel or Iran, they're not allowed to have any self-defense. That's not what the president has asked. That's not what the president has requested. But as part of the final deal, what we want to see is Iran not funding regional instability, funding regional terrorism, and of course, trying to rebuild their nuclear weapons program. That's the main thing. The nuclear weapons program is destroyed. It is gone. If the Iranians decided tomorrow to build a nuclear weapon, they simply don't have the capacity in order to do that. What we're trying to ensure—
They never did, bro. That's a problem. I've been talking about the Iranians going to make a nuke for what? 20 years, guys. 20 years. Donald Trump rebirthed the same propaganda, and people ate it up again. 20-year-old propaganda, bro. Literally gave you leftovers out the fucking fridge and you ate it up. Moldy and all, bro. Crazy. It's been in the fridge for like 20 years. You ate it.
Sure is they don't rebuild that capacity, not just a year from now, 2 years from now, but many, many years from now, so that our children never have to worry about a state sponsor of terrorism having a nuclear weapon.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. You were just saying that you're hoping this deal would prevent Iran in the future from getting a nuclear weapon. But from what's been put out there of the MOU, I'm curious, how does the MOU reflect that in the future Iran will not, in fact, get a nuclear weapon? What's stopping them from down the road, to your point, rebuilding and restarting from where we were pre the war?
Well, number one, they would have to get a lot of money in order to rebuild the nuclear program. You're talking about billions and billions of nuclear infrastructure that the United States destroyed. In order for them to rebuild that program, they would have to get a lot of money. And we have them in an—
Yeah, and where are they going to get a lot of money from? The Gulf countries. That's $300 billion right there. And in fact, and here's the thing. Like, I love how JD's just skipping over that, because I'm be real with you. Like I said, we're suspending sanctions off their oil and petrochemicals. Like, bruh, the potential earnings on that probably is going to exceed the $24 billion we're giving them.
Economic chokehold right now that we're not going to release.
Well, I'm sorry, but releasing in their frozen funds. We're not giving them to them out of our dollars or anything like that, but just releasing frozen funds, their money,
until they fundamentally change their behavior. What would that look like? That would mean a real inspections regime. That would mean a real enforcement regime. As the MOU contemplates, that would mean the destruction of their enriched stockpile. All of these things are the sorts of steps you're going to take if you're serious about ending your nuclear weapons program. And that, again, is why I go back to this fundamental trade that's built into the deal. They need money to do anything. Their economy is in absolute dire straits. But in order for them to get any integration into the world economy, they're going to have to show us and verify for us that they are changing their behavior. And that's why the deal is set up in the way that it is. Go ahead.
President Trump said yesterday that he was going to blame you if the talks with Iran go sideways. Are you worried that he's going to make you the fall guy?
No, not at all. I mean, I think the president was joking.
Nah, I'll be real with you, though, but he's making him the main arguer for it. Like, I'll be real with you. He sent JD out there and was like, look, JD, man, look, I can't take the crucifixion, but maybe you can. Go out there, argue this the best you can, and cook these guys. And here's the thing. I low-key think JD and Trump is in unison on this one. Trump feels betrayed by Israel. Trump is irritated by Israel. JD steps in like, hey, I told you, man, you shouldn't have went into this war, but we can get back at these guys. And Trump is just like, all right, go ahead, bro. Go nuts. Tell them how they're all warmongering savages. Let's go ahead and talk about how Israel is just bombing innocent civilians. We're just going to take the gloves off, and let's see what they say, man. F it. Like, it's already bad enough. They already got us into this war. I guess the best thing we can do is go out swinging.
But as he often does. But no, I think, look, the entire team has worked very well on this, and we've got this thing to a very good place for the American people. Now, I have seen some progressive criticisms of me personally saying, what experience does the vice president of the United States have with hostile, high-stake?
That's funny. Somebody said it was going to go into another ice age. Nah, not another ice age. No. Honestly, nobody was going to use a nuke, but people were going to start cutting underwater internet cables, start destroying water desalination centers. I mean, bro, who needs a nuke when you can cause destruction like that? Like, let's be real. You don't need to go that far.
Negotiations. And I would point those progressive critics to the fact that just 2 days ago, I spent over an hour on The View. So I actually have great experience in very hostile negotiations. And I've used that. I mean, look, Joy Behar is way tougher than the Iranians, and she and I are best friends now. So we're going to get to a good place here. We're going to get to a good place. We're already at a good place. It's just a question of whether we can really get the icing on the top of fundamentally transforming Iran's relationship with the world. Go ahead.
Thank you. A couple of just timing questions. How soon, as the MOU lays out, can Iran start selling any of its oil that has sort of been impounded, right, with the blockade? And two, can you sort of explain the Lebanon component to the MOU and how that front works and the enforceability of it?
Yeah, so the Lebanon component, this is about regional peace, right? This is about regional peace. And what that means is we expect Hezbollah is not going to be firing rockets and firing drones at the Israelis. And we also expect that
here's the problem, though. It's like, look, it sounds crazy as hell to say, but yeah, the crazy Shia Muslims and Hezbollah, they know how to keep their hands to themselves. The problem is that Israel don't know how to keep their hands to themselves. That's the problem. Israel attacked Hezbollah first. Israel keeps breaking the ceasefire with Hezbollah multiple times. And you can go look this up. It's been reported by multiple agencies. It's kind of wild how they get away with it. But yeah, so this is not about, if Hezbollah chills. It's about if we can get Israel to chill.
Israelis are not going to be going wild in Lebanon, right? Both sides have to honor their end of the deal. Now, as you guys know, sometimes these ceasefires are a little messy. The President of the United States said this a couple of weeks ago, that a ceasefire in that region of the world just means they're shooting a little bit less at each other than they were before. What you've seen is radical progress in Lebanon, less shooting, less firing, but you're still going to have these little flare-ups from time to time. And that's just the sort of thing that we're going to have to manage through the diplomatic process. Secretary Rubio's been sort of the person on point. It's actually worked out extraordinarily well because we do have substantially less shooting, but it's going to be something we have to manage. And eventually what we want to see is the Lebanese government, the elected representatives of the people of Lebanon, who are able to police southern Lebanon so that Hezbollah is not taken over the country, the Israelis are not threatened, and then consequently.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad he said it. He's saying it nicely, but the Lebanese government needs to step the hell up to Israeli aggression. It's like, why are you just letting Israel run bombardment on southern Lebanon? And then you're surprised when you can't disarm Hezbollah, because Hezbollah's around because you guys refuse to do anything about Israel. That's the reason. That's the weird thing that's going on in Lebanon. It's kind of weird. I really can't. I can explain to you the situation, but I cannot explain to you the motives at all. It really don't make sense. It goes against self-preservation and all.
Consequently, the Israelis are not attacking southern Lebanon or Beirut either. That's the plan there. You asked about the Iranian oil. Look, one of the interesting things that you've seen is that the Iranians have been completely.
No, please go ahead. Vote for JD. I ain't gonna cry about that. I mean, shoot, he's trying to end this terrible war. Why'd I be mad about that? And he seems to be the more sensible guy. And let's be real, he's starting to be a little bit. He still holds true to the whole the MAGA initiative. Release the Epstein files. No new wars. Remember, he's been trying to separate himself from this war for a while now. So if you think you're going to anger me by voting for JD, please, you're in the wrong chat, buddy. Wrong one.
Unable to sell oil, not because of sanctions, but because of the blockade. Fundamentally, the thing that we have done here, the original, what we give, what they give, is that we said we're going to lift the blockade. We're going to allow you to sell some of your oil, and they're going to open the Strait of Hormuz. We see that process starting to work already. It's going to take a little time before it picks up fully, but that's where we are today. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. The MOU, just on the Strait, the MOU guarantees these 60 days of toll-free passage, but after that, it has, of course, led to a regional dialogue with Oman and Iran deciding the future governance of the Strait. A senior U.S. official told us yesterday that they expect Iran to push aggressively on this, but also that Gulf states won't allow any kind of tolls. How strenuously will the U.S. fight to keep tolls out of the Strait and keep any fees away from the?
Well, Iran has changed their language. Now they're talking about, oh no, we're not going to charge a toll. We're going to charge a service fee, guys. An environmental service fee. Yeah, it's what was it? Run maintenance on the Strait. the language switch up is hilarious. But no, they're not letting that go. They're pretty much saying, look, we control the strait. We're the rules of the strait now. And if you want to get through it, it's going to be on our okay. And this is the position that we've left them in.
Future strait, commercial traffic, and are you going to leave it to the Gulf states to kind of fight this battle?
Well, first of all, we believe international waterways should be free of tolls, and that's been our position. That's what you see, of course, in the 60 days of the MOU. And when you say it leaves it open, it doesn't really leave it open, except in the sense that, of course, the final negotiation is going to set the terms of what comes afterwards, right? You said, I think that it's the Omanis and the Iranians, but it's actually the MOU contemplates that the Omanis, the Iranians, and the Gulf Coast Coalition together will figure out a proper security framework for the straits in the future.
Hey,
and what I mean,
what was it? Yeah, Lou Dumbass. Yeah, Lou Dumbass. Bro, Israel is bombing.
By that is that we don't ever want this to happen
as we speak. Christians are running to Hezbollah for help at this point. So it's Christians and not Christians, but it's Israel that's out there actually bombing Christians. And yes, you know what's crazy? I mean, Christian, Muslims, and Jews actually lived in pretty good harmony under Muslim rule. Surprise, surprise. But then, the Crusaders came through and killed all of them. Like, it didn't really matter. It's kind of crazy how y'all hype Christian morality when back in the day, I mean, both morality can be called into question, both Muslim and Christian morality back in that day. And here's the thing. I mean, don't you think the Crusaders coming through and killing Christians, Jews, and Muslims alike had anything to do with that as well? I mean, but y'all love to try to rewrite history though, or just leave little certain parts out.
Right? That's not about tolling. That's about ensuring that the straits are never used as a choke point for the global economy ever again. It's frankly not what the Iranians want. It's not what the Omanis want. It's not what the GCC wants either. So what we're going to do, of course, working with our allies in the region, is to ensure that that is reflected in the final deal. And if that's not reflected in the final deal, there's not going to be a final deal. And that is, I keep coming back to this fundamental structural point of this negotiation, which is that we have all the cards. If the Iranians want the benefits of the bargain, they have to give us the things that are necessary to get those benefits. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President.
We'll do both. Okay. Both of you guys. There's one in the white and then one in, orange, I think.
What about the pink?
I'm sorry? Okay. Maybe I'm colorblind. It looks more orange to me. I don't want to have a debate about that. Orange, pinkish. You go first, and then in front of you can go second.
Me first. Thank you, Mr. Vice President. How does the points about granting some immediate waivers on sanctions, especially from the Treasury Department, how does that square with the Iran Nuclear Agreement Review Act? And are you planning on briefing Congress on this portion?
Yeah, so I talked to James Braid, our head of OLA. We do plan to brief Congress very soon. I believe that they got the formal copy of the signed document this morning. And if not, they're going to get it at some point later today. We are planning a briefing. I believe right now the House is out of session. The Senate is in session, though maybe I've reversed that. But we're going to ensure that the team briefs Congress and, of course, answers their questions. We've been doing that informally, of course, talking to a number of people in Congress just over the last week. We'll keep on doing that, and we'll have a formal briefing. I won't say exactly when that will be because it depends a little bit about session schedule. Your point about the sanctions is I'll go back to what I said earlier, which is really the choke point.
I'm crying for the Israelis, nigga. Oy vey, like, dog. Do you understand that, like, bro? How much IDF soldiers have died going into Hezbollah? Going into what? Lebanon? About 3,000. Did you know that? Did you know how much Israelis are living in fear every day just because their country, their leadership is going into constant war, bro? I'm crying for all these niggas at this point. I guess the Muzzies and the Israelis. The Muzzies is hilarious, though. I'll give you that.
Iranian oil was never the sanctions. We didn't see that as a major concession to the Iranians. Frankly, the Iranians didn't see that as a concession to them because what prevented them from selling oil was not the sanctions. They were selling plenty of oil without any discount because the sanctions were just fundamentally ineffective at that point. What the sanctions did do is move the Iranian financial system to sort of the shadow banking system. So by lifting the blockade, that's the significant thing that has changed. And by lifting the sanctions, we're actually going to be able to see a little bit where their financial system actually sends money and receives money. That's a real benefit to the American people. And that's really the only thing that has changed by the change in sanctions. Sorry. I forgot that part of the question. No, we don't think so. We actually have an opinion from OLC we feel quite confident about. that, Congress does, there are certain things that require congressional approval. There are certain things that don't require congressional approval. We feel quite confident that we can temporarily lift those sanctions without going to Congress and seeking their approval on that.
Apparently, there's been reports coming out of Israel that Iran is already funneling oil money to Hezbollah even before this particular MOU was signed. And how exactly is the U.S. looking at this? If we're talking about behavior on part of Iran.
Make sure to double tap that screen, like the video, guys. Let's get more people into the conversation by double tapping that screen. If you have any question, comment, jokes, or disagreements, I'll be happy to read it out loud and engage with it. Just $2 and up. But yeah, let's go ahead and get right back into it.
I mean, October 7th happened. And if there's concern that perhaps Hezbollah could end up doing some.
Oh, guys, you got to remember this. Israel attacked Lebanon first. Israel incurred the wrath of Hezbollah. And honestly, they did it even in the 80s as well. They started the war with Lebanon. They pretty much created Hezbollah through their aggression in Lebanon. And then guess what? They're causing, yes, missiles and drones to get lobbed into Israel because of their aggression. Like, what part of they attacked them first do you guys not understand? Why do you guys always start it off from the retaliation? It's so confusing to me. Did you not? I'm sorry, but it's widely documented that Israel broke the ceasefire with Hezbollah. So, AKA, Hezbollah was just chilling, and Israel just said, fuck it, bombs away.
Sort of attack on that scale, then, how exactly are we talking about the reaction from the United States? If we're talking about perhaps
October 7th ain't got nothing to do with this. We're talking about current day. During this war, they already got their get back Israel already got their get back on Hezbollah for October 7th. Like, I'm not going to sit there and debate you on that. Like, they should have struck them back for that one. But guess what? There's a ceasefire that happened and they broke that. So, I mean, like, here's the thing. Even when I agree with Israel on striking Lebanon or striking Hezbollah, and when they come to a ceasefire, bro, you can't sit there and break that ceasefire and say that Hezbollah is the aggressor. That's what you guys are doing right now. And it's like you don't even know the full story, I guess. But yes, Israel attacked Lebanon first. That's what you guys got to understand. And if you don't understand that, then I'm sorry, but you're just lost and you don't know what you're talking about.
Humongous scale attack that actually could happen. Are we waiting for that type of attack? I mean, what exactly is a scale here?
Sorry, you said what exactly is a scale?
Well, I mean, like, what type of attack would it take to actually get a reaction from the United States to say, okay, now we're actually going to start dropping bombs on Iran for having bad behavior?
Well, we don't want a scale of any attack. Any attack, whatever its scale, is unacceptable under this agreement. Now, you asked the question saying that oil money was flowing to Hezbollah before the MOU was signed. And it's one of the reasons why we are actually engaged in this process is to ensure that no money is flowing to Hezbollah. So it's interesting where people will say that the MOU is bad because the MOU produces consequences that were actually happening well before the MOU was signed. That's not a reflection on the MOU. That's a reflection of why we need the MOU to